Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas. Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas. This is ntTV Nightly News.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Andrew Fancher. Now a developing story. President Donald Trump is back in the White House after leaving Walter Reed National Medical Center this evening. President Trump demanded that he be released as he recovers from COVID-19. Karen Kaif is outside of the hospital with more.
As President Trump receives coronavirus treatment at Walter Reed National Medical Center.
I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it by really going to school. This is the real school.
The president spent Monday morning active on social media, tweeting a flurry of messages, many ending with the same word, vote. It is a sign that the president is focused on the election as doctors and top aides focus on his health.
Though he may not entirely be out of the woods yet, the team and I agree that all our evaluations, and most importantly, his clinical status, support the president's safe return home.
Since testing positive last week, doctors say the president had a fever and his oxygen levels dropped twice.
He received dexamethasone, which is reserved only for people with severe COVID. So that alone raises concerns about his condition.
Even as the president is eager to leave the hospital, more members of his inner circle continue to test positive for the virus, including White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, who tweeted, "After testing negative consistently, including every day since Thursday, I tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday morning while experiencing no symptoms." The First Lady, also recovering from coronavirus, tweeted, "I am feeling good and will continue to rest at home." This as the COVID pandemic shows no signs of slowing.
I'm actually disturbed and concerned about the fact that our baseline of infections is still stuck at around 40,000 per day. That's no place to be when you're trying to get your arms around an epidemic.
The questions over the president's health is causing concerns about the impact on the election. And today, voters went to the polls in Iowa where early voting began. People lined up to cast their ballots. Many states began early in-person voting weeks ahead of the normal schedule. Early voting in Texas does not start until next week, but the last day to register ends today. Our reporter Blaine Tatum has more. Blaine?
That's right, Andrew. Today is the last day Texans can register to vote. If you want your voice to be heard, this is your last chance. In-person registration is closed, but you can still mail in your forms by midnight tonight. All mail postmarked by today will be accepted. If you have recently changed your address, even within your own county, you must still update your information by today. So if you're eligible to vote, make sure you're registered. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Blaine. This weekend was perfect for outside activities such as visiting the state fair. One of our producers decided to brave the endless lines for some of that great fried food. Though the lines were the biggest part, with servers delivering food in paper bags to your car, attendees are still able to take pictures with big techs. Overall, expect the longest part of the wait to be getting into the fair. Well, Zach, I have to admit, I kind of miss old big techs. Glad to see he is at least still welcoming visitors in his own way.
Yeah, I agree. At least it was a great weekend to get over to the state fair, and today's weather was just as nice. How about 78 degrees? Feels like 79 with an 11-mile-an-hour winds across the southeast. That definitely cooled things down for a beautiful day to potentially meet old big techs. However, tonight, Old Man Winter may pay just a slight visit. How about drops down to 56 degrees and ends up feeling by 58. The humidity will rise, though, up to 80%, but that's okay. As long as you have your long johns on for tonight for pajamas, that'd be just right. However, tomorrow, 86 degrees. Bipolar Texas is kicking yet again. It'll end up feeling by 87, so be prepared for another warm one for the rest of this week. That's it for our first look at the weather. Andrew, back to you.
44-year-old Jason Latta is out on bail tonight after Denton Police Department was dispatched to Buc-ee's following a video of an assault in the gas station, which gained national attention. Latta turned himself in after being investigated by police. Dan Scalaler, the victim, says the assault occurred following a peaceful protest against Trump. Latta's bond was set at $15,000 and was released after posting bail yesterday. DPD officials say the next step is getting a date for Latta to appear in court. And after the break, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is coming under fire with corruption allegations. Stay with us. An investigation is underway into a series of accusations against Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. 7 of his top aides have asked for federal law enforcement to investigate Paxton for possible crimes that include bribery and abuse of office. Governor Greg Abbott says the allegations are being investigated and he will have no further comment at this time. At the national level, however, a bigger storm is brewing. The fight over the empty seat on the Supreme Court is becoming one of politics rather than justice. CNN John Lornick has more.
A new dawn rising on the U.S. Supreme Court, and it begins with a vacant seat.
I've been a leader on getting conservative judges on the Supreme Court, and the best is yet to come.
Senate Republicans are trying to quickly confirm Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett as successor for Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. In an email obtained by CNN, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell told his Republican colleagues he needs all of them back on October 19th to ensure a quorum. However, once again, COVID-19 is a factor.
Think about the health risks involved here. Dianne Feinstein, the ranking Democrat, is 87 years old. Chuck Grassley, who was on the Judiciary Committee, is also in his mid-80s.
Several senators, including Republicans Tom Tillis, Ron Johnson, and Mike Lee, have recently tested positive for the virus. Democrats are calling on McConnell to put the process on hold.
Even though he has said it's not safe for the Senate to meet in session, but it's okay to have the hearings.
Although some Republicans say things can move forward,
I've got a job to do, and I'm pressing on.
Some analysts say work on the Hill presents risks.
There is COVID swirling through the United States Senate, and they are expecting these senators to sit right next to each other hour after hour, day after day.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Once again, Texas and states along the Gulf Coast are bracing for one more round of bad weather. This time, it's Tropical Storm Delta, and weather forecasters are expecting it to become a full-fledged hurricane by Wednesday. The storm is number 26 this season, already one for the record books. Right now, Delta is located about 100 miles south of Jamaica and heading towards Cuba. Well, the chances of a little rain around here would be a good thing. It's just been so dry. Zach, any chance we'll see some rain come out of that storm, or are we in for more sun?
Unfortunately, Andrew, I am no miracle worker, and there are 7 more days of sun prepared for this week's forecast. But right now, if we look across our current conditions across North Texas, you'll see that a lot of lucky 7s across. However, a few scatters of occasional 80s, such as Graham and it looks like Fort Worth as well. Our current conditions as far as across the region, if we zoom out real quick, is that you'll find that Denton at 78, you probably would like that way more than areas like El Paso and Amarillo sitting at a high of 90 and 91 at the moment. So be happy for the 78 currently. However, let's go ahead and go to our 7-day forecast. As I said, plenty of sun surrounding the rest of this week. Averages of 87 and 88 for most of every day this week, and the lows in the 61s and high 50s. However, Friday will be our only skim of cloudiness, and that'll be 87, low of 62 with 20% chance of rain. That'll be our only high chance for the week. Most of the other days are sitting at 10%. So that's it for the full weather today. Plenty more good weather for the rest of the week. Potential to go out and outside, go to the state fair. Plenty of time for that. Andrew, back to you.
Regal Cinemas have announced a temporary shutdown for both U.S. and UK locations starting October 8th, letting go about 45,000 employees. Regal began to open their locations in July of this year after being closed for several months due to the pandemic. But shortly after, the company reported a loss of more than $1.5 billion for the first half of the year. In a statement, Cineworld did not mention when theaters would reopen, but they would be keeping a watch on COVID-19, which impacts the market. The shutdown of Regal Cinema is not the only thing that is going to be temporarily delayed. The new James Bond movie, No Time to Die, has been delayed for the 3rd time.
History isn't kind to men who play God.
No Time to Die is turning into No Time to Debut, the 25th James Bond film, reportedly Daniel Craig's last as the iconic British agent, has been pushed back again as many theaters remain closed due to the pandemic. It's now due out April 2nd, 2021. The original release date of November 2019 was delayed once by a change in director and now twice by the coronavirus. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Even though the film is set to be released next year, it is unclear if there will be any more complications that will affect the release date of this movie and others. Up next, a new foliage store opening up in Denton. and UNT's gymnastic club having a rocky start to the season. Much more to come. Stay with us. Looking for a way to spice up the decor in your bedroom or workspace, Jordan Miller has more on a local Denton business that can provide the green you might be missing. Jordan?
That's right, Andrew. True Leaf Studio, located on Locust Street, has quality plants for all levels of plant parents. From succulents to snake plants, True Leaf has what you need to up your decorating game. Take a look.
With the COVID-19 virus limiting fun activities, some have turned to other entertainment outlets, and one Denton business is providing a green way of having fun at home.
Our dream was always to have like a little bit of a plant shop, art studio, natural objects, combination sort of thing, but it never really came to pass until we saw this building, and it just all seemed to work.
True Leaf Studio doubles as a plant store and an art studio, where Denton residents can come in and purchase unique, living decor for their homes and offices.
We like the weird ones. We don't like anything that a lot of the big box stores tend to carry. When we go plant shopping, we primarily look for what is rare or unique or super funky looking or, things like that. We try to carry stuff that is a little more specialty.
Another one of True Leaf's missions is to teach clients about their plants and to provide them with the skills to grow as cultivators.
It's more about educating people on plants than it is just shoving them plants and saying, kind of hope for the best.
With the changes that COVID has imposed on small businesses, True Leaf has adapted to only allow one client in the store at a time. But this hasn't stopped True Leaf from finding the sunlight in darkness.
It gives you a second to just stop and connect with another person where there's no pressure, there's no, there's nothing that's loud and noisy and just constant, and it kind of gives you a second to come in, there's plants, it's calm, there's good music, and it just gives you a second to just catch a breath. So I think that part has been wonderful, and I kind of don't really want that to go away.
At the end of the day, True Leaf is planting the seeds for fun, peace, and life for Denton residents, one plant at a time.
I think it's important to have little staples in Denton that all people feel comfortable being, and plants make people happy.
If you want to learn more about True Leaf, you can follow them on Instagram at True Leaf Studio or visit their website, trueleafstudio.com. That's all I have for tonight. Back to you, Andrew.
UNT's efforts to bring back school spirit has not been an easy task. ntTV reporter Hannah Gonzalez is at the rec center with more. Hannah?
Thanks, Andrew. UNT has adapted to many new precautions. However, many organizations and clubs have yet to establish a structured plan for students to return. Specifically, the UNT Gymnastics Club has had their fair share of bumps in the road.
So right now, all sports clubs are suspended. They're supposed to reevaluate October 1st, so they just did that, and we'll know soon if we can start practicing. Basically, we do Zoom calls for interest meetings and just trying to get more people involved. We're about to start doing conditioning over Zoom, all together. But other than that, we don't meet anywhere yet, and we don't have a start date yet for gymnastics.
The gymnastics club has yet to establish a start date for practice. It's unknown if they will be prepared for the upcoming competition season in January. Personally, I'm excited to see them back on the mat. I'm Hannah Gonzalez reporting live for ntTV. Back to you in the studio.
Now, this past weekend, we have had some terrible losses from the Dallas Cowboys and our Mean Green football team. But I know that our sports anchor, Jennifer Holberg, has more. Jennifer?
Thanks, Andrew. It really was not a great weekend for football fans here in North Texas, but I'll have more on that and another UNT team that got to start their season coming up after the break. The Dallas Cowboys sadly lost again this week at home to the Cleveland Browns. The Cowboys yet again attempted a late comeback by scoring 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, but this time they did not succeed. With a slow start to the offense and far too many turnovers, the Cowboys now fall to 1-3 despite Dak Prescott passing for over 500 yards. Hopefully this Sunday, Dallas will look better when they take on the winless New York Giants. The Mean Green lost their Conference USA opener this past Saturday to Southern Miss. Austin Aune and the offense had a slow start to the game, only scoring 10 points in the first half, but did start to look better toward that second half. Aune ended the game with 339 yards and 2 touchdowns. The defense, on the other hand, could not hold quarterback Jack Abraham and that Golden Eagles offense. The Mean Green will look for their first conference win this weekend when they take on Charlotte. The UNT women's tennis team got to begin their season this past weekend in the TCU Invite. This was the first tournament they have competed in since COVID-19 postponed their season in early March. The Mean Green picked up 8 victories in the Invite, and 7 of the 8 players all had at least 1 victory. Hopefully we will get to see more of these ladies and other Mean Green athletic teams return to play soon. That is all I have for sports here tonight, so back to you at the desk.
According to an annual survey by the National Retail Federation, over 148 million American adults plan on spending their money on Halloween-related activities this year. However, with the active pandemic, this kind of spending will look a little bit different.
It will be a traditional Halloween by untraditional means, according to the National Retail Federation. Their poll of about 7,600 Americans shows the number of people celebrating this year is down to 58%, and more than 3/4 are changing how they'll celebrate. At-home activities are keeping the holiday spirit alive. 53% plan to decorate their homes, 46% plan to carve a pumpkin, and 18% will dress up their pet. Stores are stocking up to meet demand, while the NRF says fewer are celebrating this year. The ones who aren't shying away from Halloween shopping are expecting to spend $11 more on average for a total of more than $90 on average. While fewer might be heading to stores, the top shopping destinations remain the same. The survey shows 30% of people polled will shop online. more than 2.7 million children plan to dress up. 2020's top 3 costumes: princess, Spider-Man, and a superhero. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Listening to the warnings from the CDC, people's plans to attend indoor parties and haunted houses have changed. Now that's all tonight. Thank you for watching ntTV Nightly News. Join us again tomorrow night at 6 here on North Texas Television.